It's finally happening. This is it. AMD is poised to overtake Intel on all facets of performance in the consumer CPU space. The time has come, supposedly. My name is Chris, this is Coalition Gaming, and today I'll be your computer technician. Real quick, if you're new around here and are into PC, hardware, tech, gaming, streaming, tips, tutorials, news, and reviews, then you're in the right place. Hit that subscribe button and that bell so you don't miss a single upload. Also, I stream to Twitch every Friday at 8 p.m. Pacific, so feel free to stop by, drop a follow, and talk some tech with me. Anyways, let's get to the video. So AMD just announced their Zen 3 Ryzen 5000 series CPUs. The big push seems to be in lowering latency between the cores and unifying the L3 cache so it's properly shared amongst the cores and chiplets, as well as improvements to the prefetching, execution engine, branch predictor, micro-op cache, front end, and load/store, according to AMD. These all contribute to the IPC improvements. However, it might also sound like they're trying to move away from the chiplet design, especially with the 8-core CPUs and lower. The recent 4700G and 4750G having been confirmed to be single monolithic die sort of give credit to this idea. This results in faster Infinity Fabric speeds as well, which contribute to lowering of latency. But this is just me speculating, since the CCXs still appear to be 8 cores and in use in the 5900X and 5950X. So I'm hoping they speed up the Infinity Fabric speed either way, but it doesn't seem like there are Infinity Fabric updates happening with the chiplet design still in use. One major update that's pretty huge is that AMD is unifying the cache design of the CCXs, where previously each set of 4 cores shared 16 megabytes of L3 cache and required communication between each set of 4 cores and their cache to properly share that cache in that design. The new Zen 3 design takes all 8 cores in the CCX and has them sharing a giant 32 megabyte L3 cache. This way, every core has direct access to the cache and latencies can be significantly reduced, resulting in improved performance. That improved performance, you may ask? It's a supposed IPC increase of 19% with Zen 3 over Zen 2. That's pretty significant if true. While the benchmarks they showed lacked any kind of legend and simply used the word performance, which left a lot to be desired, the numbers at least looked impressive. With the 5900X, Shadow of the Tomb Raider showed a 28% performance improvement over the 3900 XT. They then went on to give an average gaming performance improvement at 1080p of 26%. Again, pretty significant if true, especially for a 1080p high refresh gamer like me. One thing that AMD was very proud about was that these CPUs are supposedly the first desktop processors to break 600 in Cinebench R20 single core testing. Well, that's pretty crazy considering Intel was always the single core score king. Looks like they may be losing their crown. There were also a bunch of charts shown for productivity performance improvements, but since AMD was already the top dog here, and now they're just beating themselves, I feel like it's a little less important to cover. Also, they're mostly comparing the 5900X and 5950X 12-core and 16-core CPUs to the 10-core Intel, which is kind of an unfair comparison in a way. Of course, the higher core count CPUs will look better in multi-threaded productivity applications compared to a CPU with less cores. I'll leave a link in the description to an article that does cover these points if that's what you're interested in looking at. So with all that said, here are the CPUs they announced. First, the top dog, the Ryzen 9 5950X 105 watt TDP, 16 core 32 thread with a boost of 4.9 GHz. Base clock wasn't shown, but don't get too hyped for 4.9 GHz, as that is likely a very short duration single core boost that will likely not occur very much. This applies for the boost to all the CPUs, by the way. 72 megabytes of cache on this one, and the price for this is $799. Next up is the Ryzen 9 5900X, also 105 watt TDP, 12 cores, 24 threads, base clock of 3.7 GHz, boost clock of 4.8 GHz, 70 megabyte cache. Not sure why it's 70 versus 72, but oh well. Price on this one, $549. Next is the Ryzen 7 5800X, also 105 watt TDP, 8 core 16 thread with a base of 3.8 GHz and a boost of 4.7. 36 megabytes of cache here, and price will be $449. Then lastly, the Ryzen 5 5600X 65 watt TDP, 6 cores, 12 threads, with a base of 3.7 gigahertz and a boost of 4.6, 35 megabyte of cache. Here, if my notes are right. And this one has a price of $299. At a glance, these seem more expensive than previous gen. What's worse is that only the Ryzen 5 and below CPUs will be coming with a CPU cooler in the box. The Ryzen 7 and Ryzen 9s no longer will include a cooler, which sort of lowers their value and sort of looks bad as well because of their relatively higher prices. Can't win them all, I guess. I like reusing those Wraith Prisms on Ryzen 3 and Ryzen 5 builds, but you know, oh well. Hopefully non-X or lower numbered variants come out with better pricing and similar performance. A Ryzen 7 5700 and 5700X at $349 and $399 respectively would be pretty great, as well as a Ryzen 5 5600 for $200, $249. The Ryzen 9s, well, I kind of expected those to be pricey. The top dogs always are. Something that 400 series chipset users may not like, however, is that a beta BIOS availability to support these CPUs is looking like January 2021. So while AMD did go back on canceling Zen 3 support on 400 series boards, it seems like it'll also be delayed so that they can, I don't know, maybe get it done right or better. Maybe it's not a big deal though, because if this launch goes like other launches in 2020 have, these will be very difficult to get until next year. 500 series chipsets should be seeing updated BIOS files pushed out leading up to release though. Speaking of release and availability, AMD says these will be available November 5th. Real quick, something I forgot to mention in the main part of the recording was that the AMD actually teased the upcoming Big Navi Radeon RX 6000 series with what appeared to be the 6900 XT, I think it was, and they showed a gaming benchmark of it with the 5950 XT 16-core CPU. And long story short, the performance it was getting looks like it might actually be a pretty good match for the 3080. Now, the platform it's on is obviously an untested platform as far as the consumers are aware, because we don't know how well that CPU really does yet. But you know, let's just take things as we get it. It's looking like it might be a competitor to the 3080, priced less than the 3080, and if it comes anywhere close to the performance of that 3080, it's a win-win situation, really. Now for the final supposed nail in the coffin to Intel, AMD threw up a slide showing Ryzen 9 5950X gaming performance compared to an i9 10900K, showing AMD to be anywhere from 0 to 11% better. With Intel holdouts steadfastly proclaiming that Intel is still better for games, the jig may finally be up. Hopefully you found this video useful, entertaining, informational, or any of that stuff. If you like this video, you know what to do. Drop a comment down below and let's continue the conversation. Or hit me up on Twitter, Discord, Instagram, while I'm live on Twitch maybe, or any of that. Everything is linked down in the description below, and that does it for me today. My name is Chris, and I've been your computer technician. Bye. We got a lot of related videos right over here, so you might want to click one, check one out. Click one, check one out. Yes, RTX 3080 review, bunch of 3080 content, budget builds, something, anything. Click one. Okay, bye.